Yosei Teikoku? Step aside. When talking about Eroge music, this band is front and center, even though their identities are actually a secret. Well, mostly anyway. It's time for more gothic metal, but with an ecchi twist. In this episode of Otaku Files, we're going to talk about DenkishikiKarenOngakuShuudan. Most of us outside of Japan may not be aware of some of the more interesting personalities within the Japanese otaku landscape, so I thought I'd do a little video series and try to shed some light on these individuals. This is Otaku Files. DenkishikiKarenOngakuShuudan, that's a mouthful, or Denkare for short, are a Japanese gothic metal band. Though they're not your typical Japanese gothic metal band that you'll find being marketed within mainstream circles. Oh no, because if you look them up, one of the first things you'll see noted about them is that they make music for adult games, known as Eroge, something I'll get more into in just a bit. But probably due to that, they aren't exactly the easiest band to find information about, and most of the members have kept their identities a complete secret. Hopefully though, you'll learn a few things about them through this video. Now, if you didn't notice, Denkare has a pretty lengthy name, but there is something else about their name that you might not have guessed. DenkishikiKarenOngakuShuudan is comprised of all the band members' names, or at least it seems they made it to be that way. Denkare was formed way back in 2001 by three friends. Denki, who plays guitar and was apparently the one who did the lyrics and composition of the songs in the beginning, Karen, who is the band's vocalist and is in no way whatsoever associated with Yui of the band Yosei Teikoku, wink wink, and Dan, who for whatever reason has a G in his name even though it's pronounced as Dan, and apparently doesn't actually play anything from what I understand, but takes care of the back office work for the group. By the way, Karen likes macarons and drinking tea. Anyway, the story goes that Denki and Karen were having a tough time coming up with a name for the group. That's when their graphic designer friend kinda half-jokingly suggested DenkishikiKarenOngakuShuudan, although apparently the kanji characters were a bit different at first. Even though their friend probably wasn't expecting them to take their suggestion seriously, supposedly Denki agreed to use it on the spot. And also at some point, it must have been decided that any new members that entered the group would have their stage name be one of the words from DenkishikiKarenOngakuShuudan too. Now, initially up until around 2003, it was mainly just Denki and Karen making the songs, but they got to work pretty quickly, making songs for two different ecchi games within 2001, the year they were formed. One called Erase, for the game Ryojoku Kazoku Systemu, which is a game where apparently you play a guy who gets sent some request to live as part of a pretend family for 5 days, where you get to pick who will play your mother and little sister out of a choice of 4 women. You are also told that you can do anything except murder. Well, we all know where this goes. The other song was Sora ni Saku Hana, and it was for the game Yurei wa Dokyonin, which sees you playing an average working man named Tatsuya, who has a possible love interest within his company. Things were seemingly going well until a ghost named Akane shows up and for some reason ends up living with you. Chaos ensues and you end up dealing with things in the bedroom, I guess. Now, you might have noticed that these songs don't exactly have that strong metal element yet that the group would incorporate into their music. Apparently, a particular song they would release a few years later would lead them down the path of metal, something I'll touch upon in just a bit. It also seems their work was recognized quite quickly too, as the following year they ended up doing songs for 5 different eroges, more than twice the amount of their first year. Although Denkare remained very obscure in regards to any mainstream attention for very obvious reasons, they certainly were building a reputation for themselves in the eroge world. How Denkare managed to get so involved with making songs for eroge is a bit of a mystery, but they are noted to work quite a lot with eroge makers Psyche, more specifically their offshoot brand Black Psyche, which makes more darker themed eroge. Nice. Upon further research, I have found out that they have a close relationship with one of Black Psyche's in-house artists named Ueda Metao, who seems to be quite the metalhead himself. In fact, it's apparently Ueda Metao that did a lot of the CD cover art for Denkare. In 2003, Denkare would welcome their first new member, keyboard player On, whose name is taken from the phonetic of the next kanji character after Karen within the group's name. Apparently On was already an associate of the members through the internet and was nicknamed Oji, aka Prince. However, it also seems that due to medical reasons, On hasn't been active in the group for quite some time now. The biggest change for Denkare would arguably be what would happen the following year in 2004, attributed to the addition of another new member, guitarist Shiki, producing the song Vampire, which would be the main theme song for the Eroge Main Detto Bratto Shihaisha no Tame no Kyoshi Kyoku, abbreviated as MDB. MDB has a pretty intricate story, one revolving around a secret war between vampires and vampire hunters, with you right in the middle. The decisions you make within the game may very well decide the fate of humanity, as well as the undead. An interesting fact about MDB was that the game planner and director was our very own Ueda Metao. This was actually his first game in that position. Being under the Black Psych label, MDB was known for its strong eroguro depictions, especially in regards to gore. It was also known for its really high difficulty level and for Denkare's Vampire. Vampire became a massive hit within the eroge scene, and even got the band noticed among Japanese netizens some years later through streaming sites like Nico Nico Doga and YouTube. It's apparently thanks to Vampire's positive reception that the band decided to keep going with a more metal sound. Some other notable Denkare songs include Raison d'être, which is apparently French for quote-unquote a reason for existence. This was the opening theme song for the eroge Gun Katana, Non-Human Killer. Another example would be Endless Corridor, the main theme song for Mugen Kairo. Honestly, if you want to know more about their most popular songs, you should look to Niji-sanji's Hyakumanten Bara Sorome, who actually did a karaoke stream of just Denkare songs. I'll put a link in the description box below. In 2010, Denkare would welcome two new members, bassist Gaku, someone the members knew about a few years earlier, and drummer Shu. Apparently Gaku would also do a lot of the composition for the band's songs along with Denki, despite building themselves quite the fan base and being a respectable metal band in their own right. For the longest time, Denkare kept themselves in the shadows, just providing eroge music. However, within that year of 2010, as part of their quote-unquote almost 10th anniversary, they put out their first album, Black Box, which is actually a 3 CD box set comprised of their most popular songs as well as some demos. They would, however, put out a proper 10th anniversary set the following year called White Box. Also on their 10th anniversary, they finally decided to step out of the shadows and onto the stage with their very first concert called Gig Grimoire, held at Yokohama Blitz. The audio from this concert would be released as a live album the following year. It seems Denkare finally understood they were a badass metal band with actually quite a number of fans, as they would hold other live shows throughout the years and even a few talk events. Now Denkare has had a couple of member changes. It would be announced that Shu the drummer had actually left in 2014, but they would be replaced by Shu the second. Shiki the guitarist would announce their departure during the group's 15th anniversary talk event in 2015. They would be replaced by another guitarist picked through an audition and given the name Nishiki. They also have a nickname, Nikki. The most interesting thing that I need to touch upon was what happened in 2013, where Shiren of the gothic metal band known as Yosei Teikoku would play with the band in a quote-unquote rental capacity. Wow, amazing. How could that have happened? Definitely no other connections to Yosei Teikoku whatsoever. By the way, Karen's birthday happens to be the same as Yosei Teikoku's Yui. Shocker. Despite remaining a primarily eroge music producing band, in 2018 they managed to do something quite different. They did the opening theme song for an anime called Agu Tensai Ningyo, the name of the song being Prima Junamisu. This anime is actually based on a Chinese webcomic called Agu. Pretty cool. Denkare have been going on for almost 25 years, and in all honesty, I think it sucks that they aren't more well known. Then again, it does seem like that is something they decided to do on purpose. Even if you aren't into eroge, especially the brutal kind, you might certainly appreciate them if you're into metal. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I think Denkare are pretty cool. I honestly would have never found out about them if it wasn't for you guys. They were a really hard band to find information on, and I'm sure there is a lot I haven't covered in this video, so please do let us know more in the comment section below. Also, if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know that too. But anyway, until next time, thank you again guys, take care, peace, bye.